Hello and welcome. This is Zenecist Chronicles. I'm Tom Lanen, and I am happy to be here. It is a beautiful June 19th, a couple days before Father's Day here in Westfield, Mass. I'm by the little river. We haven't had much rain, so the river and the waterfall isn't running very fast. But you can still hear it in the background a little bit. It's been a pretty peaceful morning. I'm here because I've decided this is what I do. My brother and I are talking about what are we without our work. And I was in the advertising agency business for over 50 years and I loved it. But I damn don't want to do it anymore. I've had way plenty. Plus, that's a game for young people. I was lucky to stay in it as long as I was. I was even luckier that we were the only people who knew how to use graphics arts technology at the time. Now that we're in this era of do-it-yourself and Canva and Photoshop for morons, it's a different time. And clearly, I have a face for radio. I probably shouldn't be doing videos, but I don't fucking care. That's one of the great things about being 74. I don't care what other people think. I'm just going to do this. Try to do it with a minimum of editing and just get them up. Just get them up. We're going to talk about everything. And that being the case too, I don't think this is so much a podcast as it is a video blog, a vlog. I hate that fucking term. But yeah, it's more an ongoing sort of discussion of things that I've been talking about or things that I've been thinking about, things that are maybe of interest to older adults like me. Some of my younger friends seem to want to hear some of my stories too. And everyone is certainly welcome. And there's Pico weighing in. What do we got here? What do we got here? Oh, we must have a squirrel that's got his attention. He's a very diligent hunter. Keeps me protected from all the squirrels. So what's on my mind today? There's weird ongoing things when you're an aging or an older adult, I should say. Actively aging. One of the things that I visit daily is the concept of what's next. That is, of death. I've been sort of ruminating on it a little bit more than usual this year. One of my good friends at the Extremity Center, who I've known for 3 years, 71, 3 years younger than me, passed this winter. And I miss him dearly. Rennie was his name, R-E-N-E. And it is one of these things that I truly have come to grips with. I am a man of faith, and my faith supports my every sensibility that there is something after this. I was talking with my brother, Mark, and he and I talk daily. We're both in our 70s. And he's been with me as I've gone through this nasty divorce over the last year. Actually just had my first divorcery. So it's well over a year since hostilities have ceased. But as pieces have started falling back into place after being exploded during the divorce and finding myself all over the board with all types of emotions, all types of holes and the places that I lived and everything. As pieces started falling back into place, little things. My brother and I were talking and he looked at me and we're talking on FaceTime. He says, Tom, it's a good thing you aren't being provided for. I thought, And I got to tell you, it was not exactly like being hit by a bolt of lightning, but this sense of absolute truth and tranquility and calm and peace. And I can only call it grace came upon me at that moment. And I became fully convinced that yes, there is something after this. Part of my belief as a man of faith, and part of my belief in general, is that when people pass on, I don't say pass away, pass on, our job is to remember them. Just very simply to remember them and all that they meant to us in our lives. And we can't ruminate on all of it, but we can think of significant people in our lives and remember them, which I do every night. It's sort of like a litany. Sometimes it goes on for hours. It's a very simple prayer that the Catholic Pope, St. John, passed to us. And it's very simply, I'm praying it to my mom and dad right now. Mom and dad, I remember you and I love you. Pray for us. I was talking with a young woman, daughter of my longtime friend at Belfort, Tom Potterfield, who passed on almost 10 years ago. And we were talking about praying to her dad. And Kate said to me, I think if he can, he is. And I think that's exactly it. I think we remember all the people in our lives, our family, our friends. And they are actually God's angel. They're the ones who help us where they can. And I am just absolutely convinced that by remembering those who made a difference in our lives, we make a difference in our lives again. And it's a marvelous, wonderful, wonderful feeling. It certainly takes any fear I might have of death out of the equation. I don't. Yeah, I have no idea what's next either. But I do think there is something. I'm absolutely convinced there is something. Absolutely and totally convinced. That's kind of a weird thing for me to say, given that I grew up in the Catholic Church, now a recovering Catholic, but never really bought in so much to the Catholic concept of heaven. Sure, I gave it lip service. And you hear about Christ rising from the dead, ascending into heaven, and very rising into heaven or something. And it's hard to understand what that could possibly mean, if it means anything. And yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm of a Christian legacy. So I am very much influenced by that. I do a lot of praying, which to me are sort of mantras there. Things that keep me in rhythm day in and day out. And I've thought of myself in the past couple of years, in particular, as a Buddhist with Christian roots, with a Christian legacy. And yeah, they're very compatible, actually. It's really about being in the moment and being grateful for all we've been given. And I can deny my Christian roots if I want, but the fact is, I pray Catholic prayers. I don't think I know any others. I make up some. I make up a lot. But that's what this is going to be. I'm just going to try to sit here and talk for a little bit of time and try to understand some of the things that are surprising about getting older, about being an older adult. I know I'm just grateful to have this time, this retirement time, to do things like watch the World Cup. I've been watching all of the World Cup, and it's so spectacular. Oh, I love it. I love World Cup soccer. It's the best athletic events in the world. Even better than the Olympics, I think. Well, they're very akin to the Olympics. The other day, one of the very smaller countries got absolutely whooped by one of the powers. But it was their first time in the World Cup. They scored a goal. It was their first goal in the World Cup ever. And it was at that moment I kind of realized how lucky I am. Because I absolutely am certain that there are people in that little nation, I think it was Curacao, who today are living one of the absolute points of their lives by the fact that their football team scored a goal against a major power. It was like 5-1. But the pride that they had that singular achievement made me stop and think just for a moment, and really to be grateful to how much I've been given, how my victories have been just absolutely astounding, filling us awe and wonder. Well, I've decided I'm going to go and play some golf today. I'm in the mood to play some golf. I haven't done that in a couple of years. I need to do some physical activity more than just walk. Walking is fine, but it's actually pretty dangerous to walk around where I live because the road is very high speed traveling. So I have to go over to the college and walk over there. My little boy. And that's always just fine. It's just a little boring, that's all. So I'm going to go walk a golf course and see what the day brings, see what the weekend brings. It still takes a lot out of me to know that I won't even get as much as a text from my boys on Father's Day. They sure know how to hurt the guy, that's all I can say. But we're going to just continue to do this. And this is going to be this first edition of Season 5 of Zenecist Chronicles. And whether anybody watches it is a little concern. I'm here for me. Yoko and me. Right, Peak? Until next time, thanks for being part of this. Know that you are always welcome.